3 fighters of the 1st Tank Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces have repelled the attack of a platoon of Russian army soldiers. Ukrainian fighters, 2 of whom were wounded, targeted the invaders who attacked their positions with submachine guns and hand grenades. The invaders, who suffered losses, tried to hide in nearby buildings. However, drone operators who came to the aid of the Ukrainian fighters targeted the shelters with kamikaze drones. As a result, Ukrainian fighters held their positions, most of the attacking invaders were destroyed, and the survivors fled the area.
The truth about the defeat of the Russian Black Sea Fleet in the war against Ukraine was unexpectedly revealed on air by Kremlin propagandist Vladimir Solovyov. Discussing Ukraine's successful operation off the coast of Novorossiysk, Kremlin propagandists became sad. They admitted that the Black Sea Fleet had been useless. We, having a fleet, are fighting at sea with a state that does not have a fleet. It turns out that the Black Sea Fleet is essentially fighting with some kind of ghost or phantom. But at the same time it manages to suffer losses, the expert said. He called the events absurd. Russian ZWAR correspondent Alexander Sladkov colorfully described in his blog how the Black Sea Fleet actually fights. I feel sorry for us. They are hitting us like flies with a fly swatter. The Russian Federation is shaking from the enemy's UAV raids. Now even the combat fleet does not know where to hide, the propagandist said. Z-blogger Fighter Bomber also made a similar statement. He admitted that Ukraine's unmanned boats changed the balance of power in the Black Sea. Russia suffered a crushing defeat. The situation in the Black Sea has changed dramatically, not in our favor. It changed in one day. Now we can destroy unmanned boats only during the day, in good weather using jet aircraft. The surface fleet is not capable of defending itself, the Russian propagandist wrote. Recall recently Ukrainian intelligence destroyed 2 enemy Su-30 multi-role fighters in one day, and as the head of the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense, Kirill Budanov, noted, it was a historic moment. In a commentary to the war zone, Budanov revealed some new details of the operation. Thus, according to him, the fighters were shot down by air-to-air missiles with infrared guidance AIM-9 Sidewinder, launched from unmanned boats Magura 7. At the same time, earlier, the media wrote that the Russian Su-30 fighter was destroyed with the help of an unmanned boat armed with an anti-aircraft guided missile of the R-73 type. Videos of the first downed Su-30 have been circulated on social networks, although, according to Budanov, there are no videos or images of the second downing. According to Budanov, the GUR used 3 Magura 7 unmanned boats in the attack, 2 of which fired at the aircraft. He explained that the Magura 7 is a variant of the Magura 5 air defense system, but declined to specify the difference between the two. Budanov also reported that the crew of the first Su-30 survived and was picked up in the Black Sea by a civilian vessel. According to preliminary data, the crew of the second plane died. According to Budanov, the GUR began installing AIM-9s on unmanned boats in January. He did not comment on whether this was the first time they had been fired at a target from unmanned boats. In the past, Ukrainian unmanned boats used only Soviet-designed air-to-air missiles as air defense systems. We use several models of missiles on our Magura 7, but the AIM-9 gives the best results, he noted. Ukrainian drones attacked Moscow for the second consecutive night, halting flights at 4 airports in the Russian capital as it prepares to host a major military parade expected to be attended by world leaders. Flights were suspended as a safety precaution at 4 of the capital's airports, according to Russian aviation authorities. 3 Moscow international airports, Vnukovo, Domodedovo and Zhukovsky, have temporarily suspended the reception and departure of aircraft. This was reported by the head of the press service of Rosaviatsia, Artem Korenyakov, on his Telegram channel. The drone threat triggered temporary shutdowns at the region's Vnukovo, Domodedovo, Zhukovsky and Sheremetyevo airports. In addition to all 4 Moscow airports, restrictions were also introduced at the Grabtsevo airport in Russia's Kaluga Oblast. Airports are temporarily not accepting or sending flights, the agency's representative wrote. The devices launched at Moscow were among 105 Ukrainian drones intercepted across Russia overnight, Russia's defense ministry said on Telegram. The Moscow mayor, Sergei Sobyanin, said at least 19 Ukrainian drones approached Moscow from different directions. 3 social media sites with links to Russian security services, Baza, Mash and Shot, said one drone struck an apartment building near a major road in the south of the capital, smashing windows. There were no reports of casualties, both they and Sobyanin said. Specialists from the emergency services are working at the sites where the incidents occurred, Sobyanin said. The mayor referred to debris falling on one of the key highways leading into the city, but made no mention of a dwelling being hit. RBC writes that in connection with the attacks, flights were temporarily suspended at 13 airports, including Moscow ones. A Nesma Airlines plane from Hurghada landed in St. Petersburg. Passengers said that they spent more than 10 hours in the cabin without water and food, and they could not agree on refueling. In Voronezh region, that borders Ukraine in Russia's southwest, at least 18 drones were reported, the regional governor said. Ukraine says its drone strikes are aimed at destroying infrastructure, key to Moscow's overall war efforts, and are in response to Russia's continued assault on Ukrainian territory, including residential areas and energy infrastructure. The reported attack comes the same week of Russia's May 9th Victory Day celebrations, which mark the Soviet Union's role in defeating Nazi Germany in World War II. The Kremlin has invited foreign guests to attend Moscow's Victory Day parade, though many Western officials have declined. Russian President Vladimir Putin also unilaterally declared a humanitarian truce from midnight May the 8th to midnight May the 11th. President Volodymyr Zelenski has dismissed the proposal as a theatrical performance, accusing Putin of manipulating the international community by declaring brief ceasefires that it has no intention of following. Ukraine has agreed to a US-proposed ceasefire on all hostilities for 30 days, but Russia continues to refuse.